Okay, okay, thank you, Lorena. So I'm sorry, everyone. We need to record this for our report, actually, for the conduction of this community service. Okay, now next. Okay, so the relative therapy, a brief introduction of choice theory and relative therapy. First of all, relative therapy was developed by the choice theory, explained or introduced by the Glaser. Later, we will discuss more about it. So these are some of the reference of book that I have. Actually, you can just directly scan it and go to my personal e-library. I have all of the reference that and the book and also the journal that maybe help you in the future related to the relative therapy implementation in your school. Just scan it, and maybe I'll give you around 1 second. Is that enough? No, no, I'm just kidding. Maybe I give you uh, 15 or maybe 20 seconds for you to scan and just get it, just save it into your bookmark. Okay, I think we can move to the next page. Have you got it, Teacher Amin? The e-library that I share? Maybe you can scan and just hop into the e-library, my database, because actually I really love to share the book that I have compiled, something like that. Okay, if you already got it, so we can move to the other part. Okay, so next, okay, relative therapy and choice theory, Glaser and Wubolding. Okay, before we go deeper into this, actually in Indonesia, some of the expert has already converted the relative therapy into relative counseling. However, I love to still in the what do you call it in the first name that is given, which is relative therapy. So if there are some part that is mentioned like relative counseling, so it's still in a relative therapy. They are the same but only different name, something like that. Okay, so from the expert, the first the first expert who introduced the relative therapy is the William Glaser. He received his PS and MA from Case Western Reserve University and MD from UCLA. And then he has so many awards actually in a part of the development of the psychology, counseling, psychiatry, related more into mental health. And he developed the relative therapy based on his own theory, which is choice theory, that we will learn about choice theory later. And then he was awarded as the legend in counseling from ACA. If I'm not mistaken, it was in 2004. And then his apprentice or his student, which is Robert E. Bolding, he developed more about the reality therapy, and then he make the simple or the more into practical technique that can be used by in a reality therapy, which is VDEP. So Robert E. Bolding, he got the doctorate in counseling from University of Cincinnati, and then he's active as the director of Center for Relative Therapy in Cincinnati, Ohio. And then he has so many awards actually, and from still in the same in the psychology and mental health area. And then he also has been awarded as the Legend of Counseling from ACA, if I'm not mistaken, in 2014. So just 10 years after his professor. Okay, now the benefit of reality therapy. In reality therapy, there are many benefits that can be used. The So the client that are involved in this issue, food addiction, friendship issues, drugs, marriage, and financial issues can be handled with the reality therapy. So, but in this case, I want to be more focused in the friendship issues that is more happening in a students and the adolescent stage. But you can still use the radiotherapy into the other issue. And then the the problems related with the friendship issues or maybe the relationship issues is more into the inability of the person when they try to connect the others and when they try to get close to the others and have the satisfying or successful relationship. Because in here we can understand that some of the people maybe they have the maybe for some people it's easy for them to make a friend, but in some people it's quite difficult. Maybe it can be from their habitual, maybe for their habit in a home, or maybe their cultural family and so on. So it built this expectation in their friendship, which sometimes it hold their ability to have satisfying or successful relationship, because the expectation in here hold the real world that they have met in the school, maybe in a real life. So that's the problem. Okay, and then other than that, the reality therapy is popular in school that you are already in currently, and then mental health hospital, rehab center, and also military clinic. Okay, so we'll jump into the basic concept of reality therapy. Okay, there are some there are some concepts that we need to understand about the reality therapy, which are from the choice theory. Okay, in choice theory in here, they believe that human beings have five genetically encoded needs, or five basic needs, as the drive of our entire life, as the drive of our life. Based on these needs, there are first love and belonging, which uh, which consists of first belonging, being loved, being respected, friendship, sharing, and cooperation. And then the second need, it's more into power. So when we, because like you can take the example, let's say a, a person do this because they want to seek power. So because of this need, they can do anything to get recognition, to be success, to be feel important, to get achievement, and even to get skills. And then some of the people, they other than that, they are driven by the fun need, or the need of fun. So that's why they take like vacation, after that they just laughter, they just love, they just having fun with their friends, something like that. And then the fourth is like the survival needs of the person to believe in their daily activity, in their daily life. So they are the four needs. And then the freedom needs. So some people, you can take it, for example, even like in Indonesia, before we are colonized by the Dutch, and then we have the need to be freedom, and then people, they want, they can do something just to be freedom, especially freedom in finance, and also we need to do work and something like that. So all these five needs, or these five needs actually drive us in our choice. Okay, and then we move to the next basic concept in related therapy. Wait, where is? I cannot. Okay, so we have already learned about the church theory and then the five needs, and then now we move to the perceived world versus quality world. So in the reality therapy, you can understand that there are There are quality world that needs to be adjusted with the real world. So there is the green in here. You can see that this is the, wait, I need to find the tool, the pointer. Actually, can you see the pointer in here? My my pointer in here. Can you see it? Okay. Okay. So in here, you can see that in helping the student, we need to adjust their quality world to be adapted with the real world. So we need to bring them into the perceived world in here, because some of the people they are have this difficulty to adjust the quality world with the real world. So they have difficulty time to reflect, to understand more about how they can adapt from their quality world into the real world. Because as you can see, actually the circle should be in here. The perceived world should be in the middle of the real world and the quality world. However, some it can be changing. And then in the within the quality world, there are five albums that is believed by the Glacier within the quality world, which are sorry, which is called the inner imagery album, which consists of the five basic needs in the choice theory. So let's say I will just take a case. Let's say there is a student who seek power actually. However, in his real world, he he hasn't given the power by parent, the parent or maybe the teacher. So in the perceived world, there will be disturbance within their mind, something like that. So it makes them like maybe they can be a bully because want to seek power. They want to seek power. That's why they want to show the power to the other friends. Or maybe the other case, they become the person who get bullied because they feel inferiority since the circle it's pleasant than the real world, something like that. Okay, it's quite complicated and quite confusing actually, but I hope you can get it. And then next, the total behavior. In reality therapy, in here we have four behavior, which are acting, feeling, thinking, and physiology. All of those are, all of those have essential part to drive the wants. And also the wants in here have the most important to drive our destination, something like that. So in here, the illustration is more into car. You can imagine that the acting, feeling, thinking, and physiology is like the wheel in the car. However, the wheelchair is the want itself. So when you want what you want, when you want the direction that you want to go, so you need to coordinate acting, the feeling, the thinking, and the physiology of yours. If there is one part that is being broken, so you need time to adjust the one, something like that. Do you get the explanation? Maybe if you have any question, maybe something that is not clear enough, you can write it down in the chat box. We will try to explain. I will try to explain later. Okay, so we move to the next, which more into the focus on the reality therapy. So maybe I don't know in Thailand, but in Indonesia currently it's quite trending about the locus of control or maybe the stoicism, which help you to divide between what you can control and what you cannot control. So that to help you build the more more healthier in mental health. Yeah, in mental. However, in the focus in reality therapy is that is not enough. So we need to not only focus on the things you can control, but the things that matter, the things that important for you. So we need to adjust it. We need to look it in the middle of those part of those two, the things you can control and the things that matter for you. So and then we can leave the other things, even the thing that you cannot control, just leave it. Okay, now the relative therapy emphasizes the choice and responsibility that is made by the person. So if it is related into the past activity and past event, just leave it. So it need to focus and it needs you need to emphasize and to underline on or highlight or give the client or the counselee that they need to choose for their life and they need to be responsible for that. Even though the choice are given by the others, if they are accepted, if they accept it, so it means that it's already their responsibility to carry on. So the radiotherapy is like that. So we focus on that. So they underline the choice and responsibility of the counseling. And then next it's only the basic concept. Okay. Well, the relative therapy, we have reject transference. Okay. In here, reject transference mean maybe you can see in this the illustration. Let's say the man is the counselor and also the woman is the counselor, right? And then because of the past event, because of the experience that has been experienced by the woman, and then the experience reflected into the male. So let's say that the woman hit my dad, but because of the voice, the face, or maybe the gesture of the counselor, it's quite similar with the dad. He said, I hate you because you look like my dad. But in a reality therapy, you can reject it directly. I'm not your dad or anyone else but myself. So that is the reality therapy. The other therapy, maybe you can counter it. Let's say, which is called counter transference. But in reality therapy, you can reject it, just directly reject it. So this is myself. I'm not your dad. I'm not anyone else, but this is myself. So what you see is me. So that is the reality therapy. Just focus on you, your existence, not the other existence, not the other person, something like that. Okay, again, keep the therapy in the present. So relative therapy, just focus on the present. Don't use, don't move backward. Just forget anything that happened in the past. Just focus on the present that happened in the present, and then the thing that can brought us into the future. So that is the reality therapy because we need to bring into the real uh, condition today and now. And then, okay, that is the concept of the reality therapy. Now we move to the therapeutic process. Okay, I think it's quite tiring. Maybe if you have any question, just write it in the chat box. Then later I will try to explain to you. Okay, now we move to the therapeutic process. It's more into the implementation that you can do for your students later. Okay, the therapeutic goals of the reality therapy is that you try to help the clients or the counselor or the students to get reconnected with the people they have chosen to put in their quality work and help clients learn better ways of fulfilling all of their needs. By 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 do what later actually. We need before we do the counseling part, actually we need to help them to recognize their quality work, their perceived work, and also their real world, just to build their awareness about themselves and the surrounding. And then the therapist function and role in here is to help the client to answer these questions. The first one is the client needs to answer, what do I want? And then the second, what am I doing to get what I want? And then the third is it working? So the point in relative therapy, you try to help the client or the students or the counseling or maybe your partner later if you have already get married, something like that, or maybe you can help your father, your mother, maybe your parents, just do relative therapy because it's quite functional. So just try to help them to answer this question. What do I want? What am I doing to get what I want? And is it working? Why? Because later we can do the WDEP, but I will discuss later. Okay, the next is more into okay. When doing the reality therapy, please pay attention to the environment of the therapy. First, try to avoid this kind of what do you call it, like the habit or maybe the environment that you bring into the room of the counseling or the counseling room or the therapeutic room, which are first avoid to argue with the client, avoid to be boss, avoid to manage, avoid to blame, avoid to criticize, avoid to demean, but avoid to encourage excuses. Just try to help them build their reason. Try to help them to be always reasoning with all of the that is, but still in a common sense, in a bullet of common sense, and then avoid to instill fear or give up easily with the client, and avoid to hold grudges. That is the therapeutic environment that you need to avoid in a counseling room within the reality therapy setting. And then try to encourage for ACT. The first one is affirm their feelings. If their feelings are this one, yeah, try to affirm this. Try to agree with that. And then try to accept. But it's quite complicated if you try to avoid encourage excuses. In here, encourage excuses means that if their excuse is not logic, is not relevant or irrelevant, just try to help them be in a relevant. Try to help them to give more, what do you call it, like understandable reason. So it helped them to build the cognitive, to build the cognitive reasoning, something like that. And then the third is show affection. And then fourth is action consequences if they do things that is not in the setting that they have made. So action consequences. So this is the consequences that you need to get. And then encourage the conversation between you and the counselee, not one way communication. And then encourage the time together between you and the counselee, between the counselor and also the counselee. So that is the therapeutic environment that you need to build in a relative therapy based on the Corey 2012. And then later now, as I mentioned to you, that the expert is Wubolding, right? So the student of the Glaser, which is the first expert of the radiotherapy. The Wubolding developed the WDEP, or in here, you can say W is stands for wants and perceptions, D stands for direction and total behavior, E stands for evaluation, and P stands for plan. In here, in a wants, the most important thing is that locus of control or the focus that we have discussed. The focus of the relative therapy that I have explained to you, which is we focus on the things that matter and also that you can control. So you need to pull that and then try to help them to understand what they want. And then the second is the directions on the total behavior. So in here, in the direction, try to help them get the answer about the direction that they want to get, the direction that they need to do to get what they want by try to calculating their total behavior. And then before the making the plan, try to evaluate, is it working for me? will it be work for me? Will it be okay for me if you do the direction to adjust with the ones? And then after that, we make plan. So in here, we need we need to recognize the semic. Later, I will try to explain that to you about the semic. What is the semic? And then levels of commitment. Okay, now we move to the procedures of WDEP in related therapy. Now, this is the procedures. There are three actually. The first one is build relationship, and then the second is explore total behavior, and then the third is make plans. In a build relationship, in here, you can maximize the W part, and then yeah, the W part. So we need to do the three things in a build relationship. Please, the first thing is that please try to explore the wants by the students, sorry, the wants, needs, and perception by the students. And then you can, if they are quite confusing or they don't know what they want, you can try to help them by share your want and the perception. But you can do the sharing part if they don't know what they want. And then get the commitment in this part, in a good relationship. And then after they know what they want, they know the perception of their future, they know their needs, move to the next stage, which is the explore total behavior. In here, please highlight that you need to help the client to examine the direction of their life, of the thing that they need to do to fulfill their want. And then after that, try to help them to evaluate their behavioral direction. Maybe it's quite confusing actually in here if I just explain to you about the theory. Later, I will try to give you the counseling session that I have done with this procedure. And then after that, after you evaluate the direction and also the one, try to make plans based on the same simple, achievable, measurable, intermediate, immediate, commitment. Yeah, that is SAMIC. So based on that, so you can measure all of this. So the plan based on that SAMIC. Okay, now this is okay. I'm so sorry, maybe teacher, I mean you can help to translate later in the Thailand, maybe in English later, because the thing that I've done is in Indonesia. So this is from the real case that I have done before. From my client EF15. I've done it last year. I'm so sorry I cannot tell the name because it's the principal in the counseling. So in here, maybe I will try to explain to you as well. So in here, I set the condition because the condition that is faced by my client. So my clients actually is in the what do you call it, like thesis time in as the undergraduate students. So the revision has been rejected, and the client need to do all of the chapter 3 because it is not relevant with the research objective. So I asked them, I asked my client to highlight the thing that she want at the time. And then my client said that they want to do the revision and also go directly into the, what do you call it, like the test, the comprehension, sorry, the thesis comprehension before the graduation, something like that, or the defense, the thesis defense, yeah, thesis defense. And then, okay, now I get the one by my client. Okay, and then I try to move into the direction, the thing that the client need to do to achieve the one. The first, my client wrote, she tried to divide per chapter, per sub chapter for the revision, and then she want to have the target for each day. The second part is this, and then the third is the doing, or yeah, when my client tried to do the revision, he tried to maximize the DND or the less distraction when doing the revision. And then the working of the revision is no need to be rushed. Okay, so I accept that. And then I try to move in the evaluation. In here, I try to communicate, I try to converse, even I try to dispute, to argue. I try to give more perspective in here. So after I try to give the perspective, give the other, what do you call it, like other my experience as well in here. So the evaluation is changing. So in here, maybe you can see the plus and minus because it's reflected into the part in here. So in here, you can see that she tried to divide for the revision per sub-chapter. And in here, she wrote for the plus point, for the advantage point is the revision is organized. And then there is a progress. But for the minus, for the first part in D in here, so if it is difficult for her or if there is any disturbance, any distortion during the work, so she will be stuck in that subchapter. She cannot move into the next chapter. See, in here, the evaluation, okay, and then she understand that. And then for the plan, she changed. She changed from the D. From the D, you can see that in here. So she divided into subchapter for the revision, right? And then in the P in here, she wrote the subchapter that is more difficult. She can just skip it and move into the other subchapter. Okay, so and then after the P in here, the plan has been recognized, has been made. So I get the commitment from my client in the radiotherapy therapy. And then luckily and fortunately and alhamdulillah, after having the counseling session in here, 2 days, oh sorry, 3 days after, 3 days after, she go into the proposal defense for her undergraduate because she already know what she want, what she need to do to achieve her want, something like that. Okay, this is the limitation. Maybe I will just skip it. Okay, I think that's all from me. If you have any question, you can email or you can message at my email in here, or maybe you can go into my LinkedIn that I have shared to you before, or maybe you can just DM me into my Instagram. Okay, is there any question? Okay, is there any question from the participant? Or maybe we just keep it until the doctor the not presentation. Okay. Okay. Is there any question directly for today? Or sorry, for my explanation, for my presentation, is there any question? Or if it is not, so we can just move into the next explanation by Isak Brian. Hello, Isak Brian, are you here? Can you hear me? Hello, check check 1 2 3 4. Uh, Actually, I cannot hear your voice, Isak Brian. Or maybe Dr. Deno. Are you ready, Dr. Deno?
Okay. Aduh, Travis.
Okay, okay,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Actually, everyone, this is Isak Brian, and he is the assistant of Mr. Farid. Mr. Farid, like he's quite busy person, so he has other event to attend. So Dr. Isaac Brian, he will be
Yes.
the one who present on behalf of Mr. Farid. Okay, Isaac Brian, time is fully yours, and I will be off cam for little while. Okay, Isaac Brian, please, I pass the presentation to you. Okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Afif. Okay, I'm share screen.
Okay, I've already made you as a co-host, so it will be easy for you to share screen.
Yes. Okay. Why? Okay. I will explain in Indonesian because this material in Indonesian. I'm so sorry. Okay. Psychological well-being in school. Why psychological well-being is important? Uh, First, improve student abilities. Uh, so, kesejahteraan psikologis dapat membantu siswa fokus meningkatkan daya tangkap informasi dan memperkuat daya ingat, memungkinkan mereka belajar dengan lebih efektif. Yang kedua, reduce stress and anxiety level. Jadi, kesejahteraan psikologis, psychological well-being dapat menurunkan tingkat stres dan kecemasan di lingkungan yang aman dan mendukung, mengurangi stres kecemasan yang dapat mengganggu proses pembelajaran. Selanjutnya, build a positive learning dapat menciptakan lingkungan yang positif yang mendukung untuk meningkatnya pembelajaran di sebuah sekolah. Kesejahteraan psikologis membantu menciptakan atmosfer positif di sekolah dan mendorong kolaborasi komunikasi yang efektif serta rasa saling menghargai di antara siswa. Lalu, mengapa psychological well-being penting? Yang terakhir, strength relationship between student. Dengan fokus pada kesejahteraan psikologis, hubungan antara siswa dan guru dapat menjadi lebih baik, memungkinkan terciptanya iklim belajar yang kondusif dan dukungan yang lebih besar bagi pertumbuhan individu. Faktor-faktor yang mempengaruhi kesejahteraan psikologis. Yang pertama, faktor lingkungan yang mendukung. Lingkungan yang aman di sekolah, yang inklusif dan mendukung berperan penting dalam membentuk kesejahteraan psikologi siswa. Jadi, lingkungan di dalam sekolah yang bisa menciptakan rasa nyaman dan aman oleh siswa itu sangat-sangat bisa meningkatkan psychological well-being siswa. Yang kedua, kurikulum yang seimbang. Nah, selain lingkungan, juga didukung oleh kurikulum yang mengintegrasikan pendidikan akademik dengan nilai-nilai agama dapat memberikan landasan yang kokoh bagi tumbuh kembang siswa secara holistik. Jadi, kurikulum yang disajikan dengan dasar nilai-nilai agama akan dapat membuat tumbuh kembang kesehatan mental siswa itu menjadi kokoh. Dua faktor yang mempengaruhi kesejahteraan psikologis. Faktor yang ketiga, dukungan keluarga dan komunitas. Dukungan yang diberikan oleh keluarga dan komunitas merupakan pilar utama dalam memperkuat kesejahteraan psikologis. Jadi teman-teman, keluarga, lingkungan itu faktor yang sangat-sangat mempengaruhi kesejahteraan psikologis. Support dalam keluarga itu sangat-sangat mempengaruhi bagaimana kesejahteraan psikologis akan meningkat. Yang keempat, ketersediaan konseling dan bimbingan. Di dalam sekolah untuk memperhatikan kesejahteraan psikologis sangat dibutuhkan layanan konseling dan bimbingan yang profesional yang bisa membantu siswa dalam mengolah stres, konflik, tantangan emosional yang lebih baik dalam mempengaruhi bagaimana kesehatan mental siswa tersebut. Studi kasus di dalam sekolah XYZ, kita sebut XYZ, merupakan institusi sekolah yang berbasis agama yang berdiri sejak 1990. Langkah peningkatan kesejahteraan psikologisnya, sekolah XYZ mengadakan program konseling reguler dan pengembangan keterampilan sosial bagi siswa. Jadi dibuat program konseling kelompok dan pengembangan keterampilan sosial bagi siswanya. Hasil yang didapatkan, terdapat peningkatan signifikan dalam tingkat kebahagiaan dan kinerja akademis siswa setelah implementasi program-program tersebut. Oke, selanjutnya modul integrasi psikologis dan nilai-nilai agama. Di dalam kesejahteraan psikologis sangat-sangat berhubungan dengan dasar dalam nilai-nilai agama yang berkembang di masyarakat tersebut. Karena yang pertama, integrasi nilai-nilai agama dapat menyelaraskan ajaran agama dengan pendekatan psikologis untuk menciptakan lingkungan pembelajaran yang lebih holistik. Yang kedua, mendorong keseimbangan emosional. Memperkuat keseimbangan emosional siswa dengan pendekatan yang menggabungkan nilai-nilai agama dan kebijakan psikologis. Ketiga, meningkatkan kesadaran diri, mendorong refleksi diri siswa dengan merangkul nilai-nilai agama dan prinsip-prinsip psikologis dalam kegiatan pembelajaran. Berikutnya, penerapan prinsip-prinsip psikologis. Menggunakan prinsip-prinsip psikologis dalam pengembangan kurikulum untuk mendukung perkembangan psikologis siswa. Yang berikutnya, pengembangan keterampilan sosial. Menyediakan pembelajaran yang menggabungkan nilai agama dan keterampilan sosial untuk meningkatkan interaksi sosial siswa. Jadi, di dalam peningkatan kesejahteraan psikologis di sekolah, sangat erat bagaimana hubungan antara budaya, hubungan antara sosial di masyarakat, kegiatan-kegiatan sosial di masyarakat dapat digabungkan untuk meningkatkan kesejahteraan psikologis siswa di sekolah tersebut. Data dari hasil penelitian di sekolah XYZ tersebut, sebelum program 50% kesejahteraan psikologis siswa itu hanya 50%. Setelah diberikan program, bagaimana program tersebut dalam meningkatkan kesejahteraan psikologis naik menjadi 80%. Oke, analisis spot di dalam kegiatan kesejahteraan psikologis di sekolah berbasis agama tersebut. Yang pertama, dukungan kuat dari komunitas dan keluarga kurikulum yang mengintegrasikan nilai-nilai agama. Dukungan kuat dari keluarga, support system dari keluarga, dari teman-teman sekitar, ternyata sangat-sangat menjadi landasan yang kokoh dalam pengembangan kesejahteraan psikologis siswa dan dilandasi oleh nilai-nilai agama yang dimasukkan di dalam kurikulum tersebut. Itu kekuatan di dalam kesejahteraan psikologis yang sudah dilakukan di sekolah berbasis agama. Kurang sumber daya, kekurangannya, kelemahan di dalamnya, kurangnya sumber daya untuk konseling profesional. Jadi masih banyak sumber daya di sekolah berbasis agama, sumber daya manusianya yang masih kurang profesional di dalam layanan konseling, menjadi hambatan dalam memberikan dukungan psikologis yang optimal kepada siswa. Peluangnya untuk mengembangkan program lebih lanjut, pelatihan tambahan untuk konselor-konselor profesional dapat meningkatkan layanan kesejahteraan psikologis di sekolah. Jadi dibutuhkan banyak pelatihan-pelatihan untuk konselor-konselor di sekolah-sekolah yang berbasis agama dalam meningkatkan keprofesionalnya agar kualitas layanan kesejahteraan psikologis di sekolah juga meningkat. Tantangannya terhadap perubahan dan kendala anggaran. Tantangan yang ada di sekolah tersebut yang berbasis agama, bagaimana ada perubahan dan kendala anggaran dapat menghambat implementasi perbaikan dalam layanan kesejahteraan psikologis di sekolah. Oke, perbandingan antara sekolah non-agama. Sekolah berbasis agama menawarkan program kesejahteraan psikologis yang lebih beragam dan terintegrasi. Sedangkan di sekolah yang non-agama, kesejahteraan psikologis agama secara signifikan lebih tinggi dibandingkan dengan sekolah non-agama. Jadi, dalam program di sekolah agama cenderung lebih terfokus pada nilai-nilai spiritual dan etika yang berkembang di masyarakat tersebut. Sedangkan di sekolah non-agama, siswa cenderung merasakan kesejahteraan emosional yang lebih stabil dan berkelanjutan di lingkungan sekolah berbasis agama. Langkah-langkah praktis untuk implementasi psychological well-being di dalam sekolah. Yang pertama, pelatihan dan workshop untuk guru. Seperti yang sudah saya jelaskan sebelumnya tadi, di apa yang dibutuhkan, peluang bagaimana yang dibutuhkan untuk meningkatkan kesejahteraan psikologis siswa di sekolah, sangat-sangat dibutuhkan pelatihan dan workshop untuk guru-guru atau untuk konselor sekolah agar pelayanan psychological well-being, kesejahteraan psikologi dapat terlayani sesuai maksimal di sekolah tersebut. Mengadakan pelatihan reguler, workshop bagi para guru dalam peningkatan pemahaman tentang kesejahteraan psikologi siswa. Yang kedua, integrasi nilai-nilai psikologis dan agama dalam kurikulum. Jadi, mengintegrasikan nilai-nilai psikologis yang positif dengan ajaran agama dalam kurikulum untuk memperkuat kesejahteraan siswa secara holistik. Untuk memperkuat kesejahteraan siswa, nilai-nilai agama dapat dimasukkan di dalam kurikulum tersebut. Pembentukan tim kesejahteraan psikologis di sekolah. Membentuk tim khusus yang fokus pada kesejahteraan psikologis siswa dan memberikan dukungan serta bimbingan yang dibutuhkan. Keterlibatan keluarga komunitas dalam program. Oke. Jadi itu tadi yang sudah saya jelaskan untuk kesejahteraan psikologis di dalam sekolah dan bagaimana tindakan untuk Anda di sekolah Anda masing-masing. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Risa, for the presentation. Okay, for the participant, if you have any question, maybe you can raise your hand, and also, or maybe you can write your question in the chat box below. Or maybe we can compile all of the question later after Dr. Tiano's presentation. Okay, Dr. Deno. Hello, Dr. Deno.
Yes, Mr. Afif, I need assistance to share my recording that I sent in our group.
Oh, okay. So, wait, yeah, sure. I will assist you for that. Wait, let me find it first. Wait, where is it? Okay.
Nah, biayanya Bapak Ibu ngapunten saya jelaskan ya. Per semesternya kalau reguler itu 8 juta, kalau extension.
Okay, so everyone, actually for the participant, we provide you the LMS or Learning Management System letter in here. So maybe you can see in here. Later, I will share it with Mr. Amin, and then maybe Teacher Amin can share it also with the participant both of the group 1 and also group 2. You can access all of the material that we have made, that we have shared in here. Not only the video, not only the PPT, but also even for the guide, for your guidebook letter for the task. Okay, so the Buddhisantri values, right, Dr. Deno? This one, right? I'm so sorry, it's buffering. Okay. Wait. I'm so sorry, my laptop is. I think I need to buy the new one for this. Okay, I will play the video. Ah. Kalau bilang ini, aja. Okay, everyone, can you hear the voice of the recording?
Yes, Rafi.
Okay, so I will play it for Dr. Den. Yeah.
But Dr. Denok's voice is not really clear enough.
Oh, okay, wait. Let me set it first. Where is it, huh? Video setting. I will try to. Wait, it's not the setting. Source sound.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear it?
Join.
Yeah.
We have
Okay.
time to discuss about our community service, yeah, from Guidance and Counseling Department of Universitas Negeri Surabaya. Mr., Mrs., and Miss Teacher, allow us to introduce our team. Before that, I'm so sorry because I can present in the full presentation because I have problem. We have problem with the computer. So yeah, like this. Our team, Dr. Notri Haryastuti, Dr. Elizabeth, Mr. Muhammad Farid Ilhamuddin, and Mr. Jerry Seva Christian, and Mr. Arya Surya Fatona. Now we try to describe the slide about the teacher position. For this slide, we highlight the importance of the teacher position. As we know, the position of the teacher is very important in the education system, namely being the key to student intellectual and character development. In carrying out their role, teachers have broad duties and function, which not only limited delivering lesson materials, but also include the formation of student personal and life skills. And as we know, the teacher is not just a transmitter of knowledge. They are the main architect in the formation of the future generations. And teachers are in a central position in guiding students through the learning process and helping them develop their potential. And the students are in the stage that they are in the as an on becoming person, and this need a guidance. And the other hand, the young generation of Muslim now, they are faced with extraordinary challenges like how to live in revolution industry or industry revolution 4.0, and then they have several problems like free sex, violence, and other. And these extraordinary challenges and this problem need solution. And one of solution that we can take is we give a guidance, and the guidance that we want to know for you is guidance with Buddhisantri values. Mr., Mrs., and Miss Teacher in Sangkom Islam Vitaya School. This guidance can be done either in group or classically. Guidance containing the values of Buddhisantri that includes values that describe the character traits of being honest, having a pure heart, and then forgiving and accepting reality, and always grateful to Allah, whatever happened. In other words, being grateful, positive thinking about Allah decree, but not giving up is the essence of this guidance. And if we do, if we take this guidance with Buddhisantri values, we need our student or us always have always think that if we are activities, we have rules that we take from Al-Quran or Hadith. And one of surah is A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim wa may yattaqilla ayyaj'alahu makhraja wa yarzuquhu min haitsu la yahtasib. This ayah, the surah, I mean, we will be a powerful people. So if we have problems, we will remember this surah or other surah. I think like La yukallifullahu nafsan illa usaha, like that. So this group, as I tell before, that can be implementation in group or classically. And now I choose a group classically, like this in a group classic in a group guidance. There are four stages. First, formation or initial stage, and then transition stage, activity or working stage, and the last is final stage. Now we discuss about formation or initial stage. In this stage is the introduction stage and the initial involvement stage in the group. This stage is very necessary as a basis for forming group dynamic. In this stage, the group leader must explain the meaning of group guidance services, objective, procedure, and principles of group guidance. Apart from that, introduction between fellow group members and introduction to the group with the group leader are also carried out at this stage. The group formation stage consists of give opening, greeting, and receive member the group openly and expresses their thank, like thank you for coming. And then the second activity for the stage is pray, and then explain the essence of group guidance, and then explain the group objective, explain how to carry out group guidance, explain the principle of group guidance. For example, the sentence if my son, my daughter, or my friend, our activities will not be able to run well if we are not open, willing to explain to the topic or provide input will also demanding confidentiality. And the transition stage, like we want to walk on the bridge, yeah. In this stage, group leader needs to return the group member attention to what activities will be carried out next, explain the type group, task or free group, and then overring or overviewing whether the members are ready to undertake activities at the next stage, discussing the arrangement that occur, that and increasing member participation abilities. The transition stage of group guidance consists of explain again about group guidance to group member, and then asking group member readiness for the activity for the more, and then give examples of topic that will be discussed, maybe assignment topic or free topic. Assignment topic is the topic come from teacher, but free topic is come from member of group. And then in the activity group or working activity stage, yeah, in the stage is the core of group guidance activities, because in the stage the experiences in the field of feeling that occur, expression, presentation, and self-disclosure. Then the member discuss each problem or topic in depth and thoroughly. At the end of the stage, solution or problem solving is produced for the problem that have been discussed. The group guidance activity stage consists of raise the problem or topic and ask question about the topic that have been raised, and then confirm the commitment of group member. What to do immediately regarding the topic that has been discussed. And the last stage or final stage or finalization stage, in this stage, the group leader state that the activity will end soon, and the group member express their feeling about continuing activities. And in this stage, the group leader continues to maintain a warm, free, and open atmosphere, giving statement and thanking member for their participation, providing enthusiasm for further activities, and full of friendship. Maybe like
Okay, thank you, Dr. Denok, for the explanation. Maybe, but I'm so sorry that it is recording. Actually, Dr. Denok, her English is quite good, but maybe she's not confident to speak it in front of the audience. So that's why she preferred to make a record. Okay, now we move to the last topic, which will be explained by Dr. Effie as the representative of Prof. Professor Dr. Nur Salim because currently he's still on his way, so it is not possible for him to give topic. Okay, Dr. Effie. Wait, okay, wait, let me upload Dr. Effie first. Oh, also, I'm so sorry. Before that, I want to introduce Dr. Effie. Actually, Dr. Effie is our head of Department of Guidance and Counseling, and she is the team member of the Professor Dr. Muhammad Nur Salim, and she will be the one who will present. You can call her Dr. Effie or Mrs. Effie. Wait, let me alert her first.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Afif. Hello, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang ya, Pak Amin.
Selamat siang.
Ya, selamat siang, Bu Hanafi. Okay. I'm here representing Professor Dr. Muhammad Nur Salim to presenting about the topic building harmony, eradicate intimidation, and training to prevent and overcome bullying in boarding school. Okay, I will share my presentation. Just a minute. Can you see my presentation? Mr. Amin, can you see my PPT?
Yes, yes, we can see it. Your PPT, Ibu. Yeah, we can see it, Ibu Effie.
Just a minute. Sebentar ya. Ini trouble in my laptop. Okay, my topic is building harmony, eradicate intimidation, prevent and overcome bullying in boarding school. Muhammad Salim and team. My team is Professor Dr. Muhammad Nur Salim and me, and the last is Dr. Hapsi. Okay. Sustainability are different to care for each other, not to bully. Bullying is aggressive behavior that is carried out by students or group of students who have power against other students who are weaker with the aim of hurting the person. And keywords in understanding bullying have a three main characteristic of bullying. The one is power imbalance. The victim is a state of being unable to defend against bullying. For the example, a big perpetrator versus small victims. groups versus alone. And the second is intimidation, intimidate or deliberate bullying, aims to harm physically and psychologically. And the last, repeated, carry out continuously and sustainably. And next is the danger of bullying. Sebentar. Oh, sorry. Just a minute, sorry. Sorry, Miss Afif, can you help me to share my PPT? Halo, Mr.
Okay.
Afif.
Yeah. Where
Okay,
can
I
I
share
get
my
the
PPT ya.
Okay. Okay.
So,
The slide.
in group ya.
Yeah. Maybe Dr. Evi, you can also directly upload it into the LMS. So it's quite easy then for us to access it directly.
Wait.
For the Mr. and Mrs. and also Miss, I'm so sorry if there is a technical issue.
Yep. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So still hang on with us. Okay, wait.
Oke. Dan Mr. Afif, saya share di Japri ya.
Oh, wait.
Oke.
Dr. Evi. Okay, I hope it won't burden my laptop too much. Okay. It's still loading, Dr. Evi. Okay, Dr. Evi, so I'm sorry. I think I need to exit the room first to lighten the burden of my laptop. Then later I will try to reconnect again to get in again.
Okay, Mr. Afif.